Spring has finally settled upon our land here in the high country, casting off winter's chill, though each morning still arrives wrapped in a gentle fog, clinging to the valleys and veiling the distant hills. We've been moving as many of our trees and plants as we can into the earth, for there's no better time. Each root and each leaf has waited patiently, yearning for this chance to stretch into the new ground. The guy that delivers our wood came by recently, and his truck was laden not only with the old logs that we'd bought, but old wood chips too, tossed and forgotten in the back of his ute. We asked him to leave them with us so the wood chips could help mulch our garden, and he obliged. So we transplanted some of our native trees out into the ground. Our mountain pepper was among them. We use this chicken wire to protect the trees and plants that are far away from our shed because the kangaroos always get to them, and we're just cutting the top of this one off so that we can use it for 2 trees instead of 1. And we've transplanted 3 of our citrus trees from pots into the ground, though I couldn't tell you which one is going to bear lemons, mandarins or oranges because all their labels were lost somewhere along the way, but perhaps it doesn't matter. They're treasures I've grown from seed for the past 3 years, little mysteries that will bear whatever they're meant to in their own time. Each planting is a ritual really. We try to dig as deep as we can, then we lay some compost on the bottom of the hole, give it a bit of a water, then place our young sapling, tucking in good soil around the edges, and then comes the watering in. A gentle bath of seaweed solution or Nutrilife platform solution made with the powder, so that improves nutrient uptake, improves root health and improves plant resilience. It's all about adding those microbes back into the soil and the nutrition as well. As Lana's been teaching us, microbes are tiny living things that are found all around us, and there's common types, so there's good and bad of all of these, but there's bacteria, viruses, fungi, and there's also microbes called protozoa. So these tiny living things are responsible for either our health or our illness. And microbes are a vital component of fertile soil. So then if we have enough available, we'll put a soft layer of compost on the top and then some kind of mulch to hold it all close. Out here, each season changes us, and we grow with it, finding ways to make do with what we have, piecing together a life that is as strong and resilient as the trees we plant. Here we work with our hands, shaping the land, listening to it, building something lasting and rooted, season by season, tree by tree, as spring settles over us like a warm promise, whispering of the harvest yet to come. By the time noon rolls around, the mist has faded away, and the sun, with its newfound warmth, stretches over the garden beds and this wild landscape we call home. We can feel it in the air. Summer is on its way with the promise of dry heat and long, sun-filled days. It's a season that calls for preparation, for each new task now serves a purpose beyond just planting. It's about helping our land endure the warmth to come. The mulch we've laid around each plant and tree will hold precious moisture within the soil, sheltering the roots from the heat's reach. In the afternoons, I could almost see the ground soaking it in like a deep breath. This mulch, these layers of wood chips and sugar cane, will be our quiet ally through the coming months, keeping the soil cool, preserving the life we've nestled into it. The honeysuckle banksia goes in here. So we're planting the Acacia implexa, commonly known as lightwood or hickory wattle. We were given this tree or this seedling at the Land Care Wattle Day by Sarah from the Mole River Nursery. This tree can grow up to a height of 15 metres and a width of 10 metres. And this tree is one of the wattles that apparently the Indigenous people used to use for creating flour for cooking. And they also used it as a seasonal indicator for when it was flowering. They used to say that you shouldn't light fires except if it's on sand, and it's not a good time for camping near creeks or rivers. This wattle blooms in summer and produces cream-coloured flowers with a strong perfume. So we planted our second rare Tenterfield mint bush near the bathroom, and so that we could keep it close and keep a good eye on it. And apparently they're doing some studies about this particular rare plant. So hopefully ours goes well here as well. This shrub should grow to about 2 metres. The Tenterfield mint bush is classified as vulnerable and endangered, and the main threats are population size, so there's not very many left of them. They're only in a very small area in the New England northern tablelands, and there's disturbance by pigs and goats and grazing and trampling and illegal collection of wildflowers. And the other thing is inappropriate fire frequency and intensity, which reducing the amount of these Tenterfield mint bushes at the Mount Mackenzie site. Tomorrow morning we head to Lana's place for our final permaculture lesson this season. So she shows us how to build a worm farm right from the ground. Lana has a way of teaching, so simple and grounded in the ways of the earth. And we also learn how to plant a food forest, how to turn our own hands, making a hot water system, and how to grow hardy sweet potatoes, tiny microgreens, and daikon radishes so large that they bring to mind those fantastical shrieking plants from Tales of Hogwarts.
Okay, so you would water this with fulvic acid. You definitely want to make sure you're all wetted through. And then we've got our straw layer. Then I'm going to get in with my hands because I didn't bring anything else. As soon as we start getting heat on this stuff, we start getting that decomposition and easier access for the worms to start chewing on it. Like a worm can't go in and eat that, so that heat process will just soften it out. If it's gone hot, then cool down, and as soon as it's cooled down, worms will go in one end, and then as they cruise, you would just go, thank you very much, thank you very much. And that's, sometimes I want to do a tea, and I'll go to the worm farm, and it's just like I don't have time to muck around separating worms. And I found that it's really hot over there, and there's so many worms in it.
That's worm when you make your tea, hey? It's like, oh no, there's a worm. Oh,
I know.
there's a worm.
So if I was doing this for seedlings or potting mix, I would get a big, like a sifter that you use in a gold pan type situation, you know, and I'd get out all these chunks. But I'm just really wanting to just demonstrate how incredibly easy this is to do. And the microgreen, so your sprout is really a powerhouse of nutrition, and your microgreen is exactly the same, but you've got more leaf and a little bit more chlorophyll. Okay, so really healthy thing, and in a, well, let's say, shop shut, you can't get greens, you get your veggie garden's not ready, sprouts and microgreens, full nutrition from the plants. Pretty expensive. Amaranth, I don't know whether anyone's seen it. I had like bright red amaranth, and it had heads on it like this big, just all these big heads, and I got bags and bags of seeds, and they come up like this magenta red colour, so pretty as a microgreen, and to mix into salads and stuff. But nutritionally, all the microgreens are really healthy, but the density of it is like very, very dense. Oh, sorry, mate. He's in the light. Oh. Sorry. So it's actually a fairly dense layer. You can use another one of these trays upside down so you get germination. But as soon as you do get germination, you want photosynthesis, so you definitely want sun.
And during the class, Lana pulls out this massive daikon radish. With its presence so bold, it nearly startled me. Its size and strength are like something out of like those shrieking mandrakes from Harry Potter.
Back in, so anyway, I just ripped it out, one to show you the size.
I love the way Lana teaches, like nothing is out of reach. She makes even the smallest efforts seem like they're worth a world of difference.
And this can be wider, like you can make it as big as you like. So say this was just for one run, okay? Or we go a bit lower and I'll make it for two. Make it for two. Yeah, definitely make it for two. Sorry. So all you're going to do is you would get your shovel and or your hands, and just pat it all in. So you're creating like an edge that they're not going to keep coming out. All right. So this becomes quite firm, and this is all still quite loose. And then you're going to come through and make 2 trenches, probably about, I don't know, that deep. It looks good. And this can be like such a fast exercise for such a massive harvest at the end.
That will be your runner.
That can be my runner. Yeah, beautiful. So we might have a whole heap of these. Every one of these is a node. Oh, so this is dirt, and it might not even be the happiest dirt. We're going to go to our compost or our worm farm, and we're going to put our compost in. You might also put in, if you've got seaweed for your animals or for yourself, you could put a bit of seaweed in there for your minerals. You could put in some blood and bone, organic. Then you're going to come and we'll say these are 2 runners, and you've got heaps of them, and ideally we've got a really long line. You're going to come in and you get those nodes down, a few leaves might be sticking up in the air, and you're just going to press it in, but you've kept a bit of a channel, all right, and you've got your other one there, as we can see, and put it in, water your trench, come back, cover your edges. Yeah, like I'm not huge on plastic, but I can see the benefit of plastic. Yeah, it really will hold
Maybe
that
a bit
moisture
old
in.
tin.
Yeah, I was thinking
Lean up against it.
Tin would be
Yeah.
great. So whatever we've used on the side, our sides are flattened out. It can be higher, but that when you think about mainly sweet potatoes, about that. Thank you for hands. And then that, you're going to tie that off. We'll just do a super quickie. Oh, by the way, did anyone know that if you do, when you're tying a knot, and you do 2, it'll hold there while you come back to get the next one? Yeah. Otherwise, you're just trying to get your finger in there to go, oh no, stay there. Yep. And then that will, in the right spot.
I'll put the finger on it.
And we'll begin 1, 2, 3, 4. And then as this potato starts going crazy, it'll just start weaving up this. This could be shorter, wider, whatever. We're creating shade, so we're sort of keeping our pit or our mound.
But sorry, what's growing on here?
The leaves.
The leaves.
And then come out and in.
You and there's one other person.
When you just plant like you start climbing once you're done, you need that.
So this was
Let
just
water
in a
flow
sandy
through it.
pot.
It needs a bit of back pressure here.
Yeah.
Once the water runs through it.
And there's
And
hundreds of
what's
plants
in here? Do you have to fill it up
Put
with
it in the
water?
pot.
No, it'll fill itself. But I've got a-
So at the end of our permaculture class, Lana handed us seeds, tiny promises of life, and also some more comfrey roots. And so when we returned home, we planted our comfrey roots, giving a little compost for comfort and I can't help but feel a quiet excitement at the thought of those leaves emerging in time, unfurling towards the sun. Our 2 surviving hens wander the garden, pecking here and there. Brave souls that they are, they've weathered their own storms, and now they roam free among the beds, darting around as the wind sweeps through. The gusts are strong here today, and I can see the hens lifting their feet, steadying themselves as they go about their day, unbothered by the bluster, determined and free. This life we've chosen out here on the edge of things is full of such simple blessings.